Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Pubcast, episode number 35. I'm Martin. As you can see, we've got all three of us tonight, which is good. Nice to see you both. How are you?
Always good.
I'm good. Yes.
Got
a drink.
Nice blurry background tonight, Duncan. I think your background was blurry last week, wasn't it? Actually?
Yeah, well, I think yes, it was 2 weeks ago. We had some technical issues, and everybody could see my iron up there. Oh, look, you could just see it around my finger.
Still there.
Again, audio people won't really care about this, but yeah,
Cool though, that iron, isn't it?
A lot of podcasters have all the geeky stuff behind them. I have iron and a fan. This is a fan here, and boxes of stuff, and more boxes of stuff. So, yeah. It will be sorted at some point, maybe even made into a room. But right now, it's full of crap.
I have to go to 100, Duncan. I want it sorted, all right?
by the time I'm aged 100, I think it'll be sorted. But that's due to my procrastination.
Too late for that kind of word.
Yeah, I'll have that. Especially after a little bit of lemonade.
Mm-hmm. Not me out.
Well, let's not say that.
Right. Too early. So anyway,
it is lemonade, but so gaming.
Gaming. What have we been playing this week then?
Well, I think have we all three got Game Pass now? Tom, you've got Game Pass, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
So, who here has been playing Paw Patrol World?
No.
After Bluey, on Paw Patrol.
After Bluey, I'm now on Paw Patrol World.
Or has it been on
it's terrible. It's absolutely awful. It's worse than Bluey. It's worse than previous Paw Patrol games. Because although it's called World, and they say, it's an open world, and you can go, there's 4 areas you can do. And you can go wherever you want in those worlds. But it's literally, you walk to one person, you go somewhere else, which it tells you exactly. You don't have to find anything. You have to walk. It tells you where to walk to somebody. You press X, then you have to tap X a few times, and then it does the thing that you need to do. And now imagine that probably 70, 80, maybe 100 times, and that's it.
You spent some serious time on this game.
Oh, no, I haven't completed it. Oh, God, no. It's probably the first easy 1,000-point game. Because also my son now, even he says Paw Patrol. I'm a bit old for Paw Patrol. He's still playing it, but...
Is he saying that to you, Duncan, or was he saying that to himself?
Well, he's still playing it, and I'm making him play it on my gamer profile, so I get the achievements, and I have to play it a little less. But I played Bluey with him, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but this is just boring. It's absolutely boring.
79 rated though on Metacritic, Paw Patrol World.
If you've got a preschooler, it's very simple to play. They will love it, and they will think it's an open world. But for anybody who's played any kind of open world game, and like even a dad with a small child, you're going to be bored by it. Because it's the most simplest of simple games, but it is aimed at 3 to 6 year olds. My boy's 6.
To be fair, you'll times that by 15. That's your age.
Indeed.
We've got the original Paw Patrol game on the Switch, and that was pretty bad.
It was. I mean, you could die in it, but at least it was platforming. So. And you had to grab some ropes to pull them back to open a door, and then run through the door before it's shut, and all that kind of thing. And then the next one was a 3D platformer, where it was very linear, but you could miss things, and you had to do a level all again. And then there was little mini games where you had to. They were like endless runner kind of levels where you had to.
Duncan's invested, people.
Yeah, and then you had the Mighty Pups game, which was another open world. Not an open world, a 3D platformer, and that was okay to play for a bit, but this one is just boring.
I reckon they should make the next Paw Patrol game. They should make it as hard as the Super Mario Bros. Lost levels.
They should make From Software make it.
In years to come, though, these games are going to be worth some money because they'll go, those were the original Paw Patrol games. You know, a bit like the Pokemon games on the Game Boy. So
yeah.
Look after them, people.
I've only ever had them digitally. The first one I actually bought for my boy, I got it cheap.
Sounds like you played every single Paw Patrol game. So.
Yep, even Paw Patrol Racing or Kart Racing or something like that, which was absolutely... as a kart racer goes, it was terrible. Seeing as my boy at 5 could play Mario Kart and play Speedstorm and whatnot, playing that the Paw Patrol kart game, even he was bored after about 20 minutes.
Next week. We did a Mario special last week. We'll do a Paw Patrol special next week.
Just for Duncan.
I think that's it. I think I've gone through every single game. And, so I'd say that the two 3D platformers, probably the best one for any dads and mums that are listening. Avoid this one unless you can get it cheap. And if your kids are 6 years old, they don't want it.
It'll be boot sales everywhere soon, won't it?
Get them like Mario or something like that. It's only good for a 3-year-old, 4-year-old if they're gaming. If your kid hasn't started gaming until they're 6 or 7, they're not going to be interested in this whatsoever. So 4 out of 10 for me. 4 out of 10. Wow. Even as a dad with a small child. Yeah. Not good.
What have you been playing, Martin?
I haven't been playing, nothing really just games that I've already discussed. So a bit boring considering we're sat here now speaking about what we've been playing. So, but I have pre-ordered a game. So, which I don't usually do. Dragon's Dogma 2, which is out on the 22nd of March, which looks a bit like, from what I can see, a bit like Skyrim, like sort of with
it's sort of an open world action RPG. Well, it's probably RPG primarily, and action second.
Where you create your character, your vocation or class, or however you and then you can be like an archer, warrior, whatever, and then go off and do sort of side quests. The only thing that is a little bit disappointing is that it isn't multiplayer, because I think games like that work really well when they're multiplayer, because you can get together with your friends or whatever, with your different types of characters, going off doing quests together. But from what I can tell, you have yourself, and then you have your pawns, which are your other team with you, and then you can set their classes, so you can ensure that you've got the classes there. I think you can use your own people's online characters as your pawns. So,
nice.
So I was reading somewhere. Apparently, if someone's done that level, all the quests you're doing, and you're using their pawn, then they can guide you in terms of where you need to go and stuff, because they've already done it. So. It seems like even though it doesn't have that online playing together, you can sort of still get it a little bit, I suppose. But slightly disappointing, but I am sort of looking forward to it.
Obviously, it is a sequel. So have you played the first one?
I haven't ever played Dragon's Dogma 1. To be fair, I never heard of Dragon's Dogma.
Originally, I think it was PC, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. Now, I do own it on PC, and I have got it installed. But I've only ever played about 30 minutes of it. It's one of those games where I really want to play it, but other games just take over and are prioritized. So I may try playing the first one and see. Hopefully, I'll be able to compare it with you to the second.
Was that on the PlayStation or was that earlier, like Wii U and stuff?
It was on PS3,
360, PS. It was on PS4. That's what it must have been like.
Okay.
Xbox.
Yeah, I think there's a remastered version or a version that they updated. I can't remember what they called it, but it was Dragon's Dogma something or other. Let's find out. But basically they made it slightly higher resolution and whatnot. But yeah, it's always been very well received, and hence why I wanted to play it, because I've loved Greedfall, I've loved The Witcher, I've loved Skyrim, so hopefully, the first one will be good, and then you'll enjoy the second one. We'll be able to compare it.
I'm sure it's on Xbox as well, but on the PlayStation they've released an app for it, Dragon's Dogma 2, where you can create your character.
Yes.
Or you can create multiple characters, and then when you get the game, it will link to it. So you can create your characters now, and then when the game gets there, you don't have to do that bit. You can just go in. I know a lot of people have seen things online where people have been having a lot of fun with that.
I bet.
Quite a bit of customization that you can do with the character.
I heard people have made Kratos, haven't they? And who else was there? I heard that somebody had made, but there'll probably be a few developers and whatnot protecting their IPs.
I feel like I make Super Mario. Hopefully Nintendo don't get angry with me.
Well, I mean, if I get into it, I'll just create the most stupid looking thing. That's what. Whenever I have these bars that you can make their head big and their chest small, and I just do it 100%. The next one 0%, next 100%, next one 0%, next 100%, next one 0%, and so I always end up with the weirdest.
I make it. So I had the UFC game, not the last one. I think the one before. And I did it in the women's division, and I made Judi Dench. I thought, I was like, in what parallel universe? She had a change of a career. I don't know how old Judi Dench was, 80s, late 70s.
She's late 80s, mid 80s, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so very late on in life, she decided she wanted to make a UFC career, and she made it to the top. She was
nice.
Specialised in kickboxing. So didn't ever do any that. But she had knockout power, Judi Dench. So I struggled against wrestlers because our takedown defense was pretty bad. But if she hit you, head kicks.
I never got on with the UFC games. I couldn't stand them. It was like when the boxing games went into stick mode. And it's like, I don't want a stick. I want a button. I want to press a button to punch. And and could never get on with them. As soon as the boxing games, I don't know whether your Fight Night game that you like, Tom, is stick based punches, but I prefer X's jab, his uppercut, and you just do a direction for whether it's left, right, and up or whatever. So at UFC, it was like you've got to spin around to do this and do left and then half quarter circle. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want buttons to press. But I think since the first or maybe the second UFC, I haven't touched any of them. So they might be really good. That's again one of those. It's a me thing.
It was free. I think it was on Game Pass, the one I got.
Yeah. Well, they're on EA Play, I think. But it's normally only the most recent one, which is, I want to say 4, UFC 4, something like that.
I don't know. But it was a while ago. So I think it was probably after that. But yeah, that's the sort of characters I make. Anyway, Tom, enough about me. What about you, Tom? What have you been doing?
I've been playing Terminator Resistance.
Ooh, okay. It's by the same people who do the RoboCop game, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, in all fairness, it's not the greatest game in the world, so it's okay. But I'm determined just to see it through and, see what comes of it. I've kind of not spent enough time with it, but there's been a few upgrades which should improve the game, and it's okay. It's an average shooter. They could have done a lot more. I'm going to try and complete it.
What console is it on, Tom?
Oh dear,
I've got on PS4.
41% on PS4. Yeah,
Sorry,
55 and 60 on Xbox and PC, respectively. But yeah, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that it is by the same people who've done whatever it's called, RoboCop Rogue City.
That looks quite good, though.
Yeah. I mean, I really still really want to get it. It's on sale at the moment because the Steam sale, the spring sale, has started today, and that's one of the games that is reduced. And I'm like, oh, I'm just looking at their catalogue. No, I don't think it is. It isn't the same.
Looking at the reviews, reading some of them. Wesley Yimpole of Eurogamer called it generic and boring. Alex Havard,
What was
called it the best Terminator game we've ever played, but wrote that given the series' historically poor record when it comes to interactive entertainment, that's admittedly a low bar to clear. So it was kind of a compliment, backhanded compliment. But then,
yeah.
I mean, I think we all said we enjoyed the Terminator game and the Sega Mega Drive, didn't we? So,
no,
Alex never played that one.
The best Terminator game I think I've ever played is Terminator Salvation on the arcade.
Terminator Resistance was developed by Teon, who also do RoboCop Road City. So,
is that the new RoboCop?
That is the new RoboCop. Yeah. Good. Steel Empire is another one that I've heard of that they've developed, but most of them are like you have Rambo the video game on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. That kind of thing.
That was dreadful.
Yeah. So they haven't got much, to stand up on. They haven't got a very good history, but. Yeah, did you get it cheap?
Did I £8? I think it was.
Oh, there you go. At the end of the day, this is the thing. If you can get a game for, like you said, £8, it's the cost of a McDonald's and a coffee, whatever, and you're going to get 10 hours worth of gameplay out of it.
That's it. I don't know if I could handle 10 hours of it, but
10 hours in small bursts.
That's the one. Yeah. Interestingly, I've just read that someone's actually dumped the ROM for Terminator Salvation Arcade. So it looks like it's playable on home PCs.
Is that a good? Is that a good one?
It is, and it's really good.
I think I remember that one being is it a fixed gun?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah.
I think do they have that at our local? We live near a theme park, a very small theme park, but we do live near a theme park, and I believe they have a Terminator game there. But so it's one where you. Oh no, I'm having a look at Terminator Salvation. That's just the normal game. Arcade game, but if it's the one I'm thinking of, it has like a minigun. No, the one I'm just looking at it. You can buy it for £8,000.
Amazing.
Yeah, you can buy that, and it's got sort of like just SMGs. So pretty boring and generic in the arcade as well.
Does it include delivery?
Well, it's a particular arcade game shop, so they will deliver. Oh, they will deliver to England and Wales for £0. So if you've got £8,000 spare, you can buy one of those from Liberty Games. There you go. I don't think any of us will be doing that, seeing as we're talking about paying £8 for a game. Yeah, £8 or 1,000 times that much. So, is that what? Have you been playing anything else? Pre-ordering anything else, like Martin?
I pre-ordered a Dreamcast game that is coming out on the MetaQuest called C Smash VRS, which is a bit like It's a combination between Tron, the disc fighting, and a futuristic tennis game. Very basic graphics, but I think it could be quite fun. So it's multiplayer. Quite looking forward to trying that out, and we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's basic graphics because it's on the MetaQuest, although it's obviously powerful for what it is. Yeah, but it's colourful. It looks C smashes in the letter C, isn't it?
Yeah.
C-Smash VRS, and they literally have paddles in the picture that I'm looking at now, as if like it's tennis. But then you have a sort of Arkanoid style thing behind the characters. Is that why you've got to hit?
Yes, you can play against another player on the multiplayer, and it's just simply like a tennis game, combination between squash and tennis, or you have targets that you hit, and we'll see.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
I think in terms of like VR, I think tennis rackets type games are probably one of the best suited sort of type of sport. That in boxing maybe are good for VR, aren't they? And I'm trying to think of any other sports probably are.
Well, I think tennis is good unless you've got restricted on space, in which case you won't have much of a TV left.
Yeah,
I've seen plenty of those videos.
It annoys me when you have to use like one hand to throw the ball up in the air, which the MetaQuest actually doesn't do well with, and then the other one to hit the ball. Actually, the balance on that doesn't work really well. However, there's a couple that do work really well. One really futuristic one we play, which I can't remember the name of. But yeah, time will tell. I shall give you my lowdown on it in a few weeks' time. I think it comes out at the end of this month.
So we're going to chat then. Where are we about cheating? Cheating in games. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do still cheat in games. I'll put my hands up and say I do still cheat in games. I have 2 saves on Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, not Infinite Warfare, Infinite Wealth, and one of them I've got a trainer and I've got all the money, all the experience, everything, so I can experience everything. It doesn't actually make much difference in that game because, well, other than it doesn't mean it means you don't have to grind at certain places. So I haven't really done much with that save game, but I have always, from the days in the Spectrum where there used to be a thing called pokes. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently this is where some of the action replays worked. They used to do a thing called poke, and you basically would have to press a button during a loading of a game, and it would come up with all the programming of the game, and you'd be able to change various lines.
Yeah.
And so you'd be able to load up a game with infinite lives, with all the money you could want, or all the characters and whatnot. And so I am a cheat. I am a cheat. There you go. It's Cheaters Anonymous.
I remember all the old gaming magazines in the very late 80s and early 90s having all the codes for Action Replay and Game Genie.
Yes.
Those are, and there was particularly one for, I think I mentioned this in our previous episode, there was one for Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo where you could activate the bosses, but the bosses would only be in silhouette. So they were the outline of the characters, but no graphics, and you could play as the boss. And it was, everyone was like going crazy for this thing.
So come on, just to prove you are gamers, give me the Konami code. You gotta know it. Right. Come on, one of you's got to know it off by heart.
No.
Don't you Google it. Don't you Google it. I can see that hand go down and type in. Don't Google. Oh, come on. Have a guess. Have a guess at it.
No idea.
Up. Down. Right.
Left.
Oh no, hang on. Oh, it's reversed, isn't it? Sorry. Left, right. B, A, start. Oh, I'm sorry.
And what does that
will
do?
have to hand in your gamer cards, I'm afraid.
What does that do?
It's the Konami code. It was Contra. Actually, I think I heard there might have been something before Contra, but it got famous because of Contra.
Does it still work now with Konami games? Could you do it on
they used it in Contra, and then they put it in, I want to say Galaxian. And it was like extra lives or infinite lives kind of thing. And it just
needed it on Contra.
Yeah, it just became the go-to code. And even now, if you buy, there's a Fisher Price hand controller that you can give to the little kids, and I had it, and it even works on that.
Wow.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's still, if you ask a lot of people, I can't believe you two don't know it. Disappointed.
Some of us had lives like having decent lunchboxes.
that was off air. That was off air. It was Konami code, and it's still to this day. I think some games have it, as an Easter egg or something like that. But yeah, there was codes all over the place in games. It only really stopped, I think, with the internet, really, didn't it? Because it meant that people could, cheat.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, like, cheating on games seemed a lot more prevalent in the 90s because you used to get the magazines, and as Tom was saying, you had like the big books that would come in with codes, and you had Action Replay where you could put a CD in there and give you all the cheats. I remember, and I did used to cheat. I used to try and do the game first and then go and do the cheats because I felt like if you had like an invincibility cheat, it would take away the enjoyment of the game a bit if you could just go around without dying.
Yeah,
it's a bit easy. But I remember like when we had the like GoldenEye, and you could get cheats on GoldenEye, but you'd have to do things within the games. You'd have to complete like levels without in a certain time or without dying on certain like modes or whatever, as hard mode or whatever. We sent ours away, so my brother knew someone who was really good on GoldenEye. He had it for about a month, and then we got it back, and it had all the cheats on it. So, my question is: do you prefer cheats where you just get a code?
You have to earn them.
Grand Theft Auto or something, where it's like R1 or whatever, and you end up with a tank or unlimited money or whatever. Or do you like it where you have to, like Resident Evil, for example, when you complete the game, you get the shop. And then you can buy things to make
the rocket launcher.
You have to do things within the games to get the cheats, or do you just want the cheat?
I like a code, but I'm old school.
I think back in the day, the thing is, back in the 80s, you didn't get codes because a game would come out and then the codes wouldn't be either found or released for another 2 months. So you'd play the game, you'd complete it, or you'd be stuck and not play it, and then the codes will come out. And so back in the 90s, kind of mid-90s, late 90s, when the internet was more of a thing, game FAQs was more of a thing. Yeah, it did become sort of, that you had to decide: do I cheat or do I play properly?
Or do you in-game master?
Yeah, I did. Oh God, the £1 a minute things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it depends on the game. I think because some games, like if you had the old Call of Duties, there was an infinite energy. Yes, all you do is walk around and shoot things. It's not very interesting. Whereas if you had something like I don't know, Final Fantasy, if you got infinite energy or something, yes, the battles became boring, but the story was still there, the mini games were still there, the open world was still there. But yes, it did get rid of any kind of challenge.
I used to play a lot of Battle for Middle-earth, and you download the little hack thing that would give you unlimited lives, or you could adjust how many soldiers you could have at any one time. So you'd go from having like 1,500 soldiers to 20,000, and then your laptop would blow up. But I remember like on the GameCube, yeah, there is a bit like Action Replay, but it's a disc. You put it in. There's 2 games in particular. You can put in the Star Wars Rogue Squadron game, and it unlocks the Atari original Star Wars game. And then with
downgrade.
Oh yeah, but still, and then F-Zero with this little Action Replay type disc unlocks the arcade game from F-Zero, which is AX F-Zero AX, which is a phenomenal game.
Okay.
So,
I mean, in answer to your question, Mark, yeah, I think I like earning them. Let's just say that. But there's quite a few times where I just went, sod that. Type in the
code. I remember there was times where the code was like because sometimes you would have to do it on the start menu or something, and then you would hear like a noise to know that you've done the code. But I remember there was times with a game where you weren't 100% sure. You're like, I don't know if I'm invincible. You'd go in and you get shot and you die. You're like, okay, I'm not invincible. I've done that code. But in terms of, I was going to ask, in terms of, online, when you're playing multiplayer, is it a bit different when you, because I know on Call of Duty, there were like cheats. Well, it wasn't cheats really, but there was like glitches within the game where you could get under the map, and obviously annoying for anyone else because you can't kill that person.
Modern day cheating is it. I mean, I think generally I want to feel good about the human race, and that most people are anti-cheating online.
Yeah,
most people are.
Well, would you?
But the people who do it are so insistent, and they're so insistent that they're like, oh, it's fine. What does it matter? It's only a game. Well, if it's only a game, why are you cheating?
Because there was that person on Fortnite, wasn't it? And he got banned because he put a YouTube video out, I think, of him cheating. I think he was using sort of mod or something within the game, which meant aiming was really easy for him.
Aimbots are very prevalent in pretty much any online game.
It does take, because it made that. I mean, it's like cheating in sport, isn't it? You'd feel like
it's whack-a-mole. They have find a way of cheating, and then Epic or EA or whatever will strike that down. And another way, there is quite a few ways that they're scared, because it depends on how. If they change the game, they can discover that quite easily. If they change the operating system, that could be, if it works at the operating system level, that's fine. But then there's things that work even deeper than that. I'm not technical at all, but yeah, it's getting harder and harder to make them the cheats, but equally to stop the cheats.
Mario Kart's terrible for it.
I was about to say, like a Mario Kart game where not like a glitch on the game, but where you could like go off certain parts of the track and land on another part of the track. Would you class that as cheating, or would you just class that as
no? Because you could do that on the SNES version, and you could literally leap half the track.
It's not cheating, but equally, if as an amateur would join online and go, oh, there's not really much point.
Yeah.
So it will kill. It will kill the online, as far as I'm concerned. Because if I join a Call of Duty and everybody's got aimbots and is just killing me from across the map, or if I join Mario Kart and somebody legit, I wouldn't call it cheating, but if people are that good, but that's when you have the skill-based matchmaking kind of thing. So it needs to be people who are getting around the track in 10 seconds should only be up against people who are getting around the track in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But
Mario
people do all
Kart
sorts of things.
Had loads of Japanese players they'd have the steering wheel and they were like 5 seconds, and you knew they were cheating. It was very irritating. So,
indeed. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'd say that's more annoying than cheating. But yeah, I mean, you've had actually one thing I remembered about sort of cheating things was does anybody remember the GTA? I want to say no, it was GTA San Andreas, the hot coffee mod. It was basically you had to have an action replay, but there was a part that was cut from the game, which wasn't, of course, then told to the ratings boards. And it basically, you could put in an actual replay code and it opened up that mission where you could go into a room and a lady gave you some pleasure. Let's just keep it at that. And of course, by itself, that wasn't really, because you didn't see anything, it wasn't graphic or anything like that, but it was quite obvious what was happening. But yeah, so that was another thing you could do with action replay, and it caused loads of. I mean, it was, I think it was talked about in government buildings, Houses of Parliament and the Senate in the US, kind of thing.
Only because they're doing it in real life.
Yeah, it's based on their lives. So you could do so much with the action replays, and the death of them was probably again the internet, because PCs could quite easily. I mean, now I can go into most games files, and unless they encrypt them or do them in whatever format, if it's just got a text file as a save, you can go in there. I'll have $5,000 billion in the game or whatever. So it makes it quite easy.
Some back, like obviously not the newer ones where people can just go in, but there are some cheats where I always thought, how did someone work that out? Because there was one on Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Red, and Pokemon Blue, where you could get like a 99 of an item which was in slot 6. So everyone would put rare candies in slot 6 because you would want 99 rare. But the way you would do it, you would have to go and speak to this man from like Pallet Town. He would show you how to catch a Pokemon. As soon as you spoke to him, then you flew to Cinnabar Island, and then you would surf on this certain pit just up and down, and then Miss and Go would come up as a Pokemon, which was apparently a glitch within Nintendo where they had to add a Pokemon which wasn't a Pokemon. It was called Miss and Go. And then you would just like run away from Miss and Go, and then you would have 99. I was like, someone figured that out. There's so many sequence of events that you have to do to get to that bit. It's with like certain codes as well. Like
Easter eggs that people find, like in Call of Duty Zombies, they always have an Easter egg that's about 30 or 40 bits in a row. Now those are built in, but yeah, the ones like you just said. So what were you doing that meant that you could then replicate that and actually write it down? Things have been found out by accident for years. It's like, oh, look, I'm invincible. Why am I invincible? I don't know. But the fact that it's so many different things.
Didn't the Mortal Kombat team, particularly on Mortal Kombat 2, Easter eggs into the game that you could unlock through codes and through getting through the game?
The blood on the SNES version, the blood was green, wasn't it? And then that you could put in a code and it would turn it to red. In terms of characters, I mean, there's always been rumours with various Mortal Kombats that there's different hidden characters, and even to this day, I think some people claim that there's hidden ones in there. But yeah,
Zangief on the Super Nintendo, where there was always that rumour that you could press a certain combination of buttons and he would handcuff Chun-Li during the fight.
I've never heard that one.
Just speaking about Mortal Kombat and not cheating, but like the early Mortal Kombat games, how did you work out fatalities? Was that just something you people would work out themselves?
No, I used to get them in the magazines.
Magazine, yeah.
Because CBG magazine.
I didn't own it myself. A friend had it on. I didn't have a home console. A friend had it on the Mega Drive, and yeah, we used to get one of the Sega magazines. I can't remember what it was. And yeah, every magazine would have a cheat section, and and it wasn't very fast, was it? Because at the end of the day, they were making this magazine probably for the 2 months leading up to its release. And so cheats were quite often released by developers, or shortly after somebody phoned up somebody and go on, give us a cheat, and they tell a journalist a cheat. And so your Mortal Kombat would come out, and it would be sometimes 3 months, 4 months later, there'd be look, there's a code for Mortal Kombat.
So that's how they kept it going, wasn't it? They did the walkthrough, and then the cheat codes the next week, and so on. So you'd have like 5 weeks of one game and all the things to get you through the game.
Even when I had like the code for fatalities, I used to struggle to do them though, because it would obviously be the finish him or finish her or whatever, and they would be there standing there, and I'll be like up, down, left, right, and then they would just collapse, or you'd just do like a random punch or something. You're like, oh, I've obviously done something correctly there because I just kicked them rather than rip.
There you go. I've got a Mortal Kombat. There was the bloody code. So it was to enable blood and in-game and real fatalities. And then there was a cheat menu. So you could change a character plan base. I don't know what that is. But yeah, there was all sorts of there was flags you could do. So you could start on no health and start the player 2 on no health. You could have free play, all that kind of stuff. Turbo. And also the first game, it was the secret character was Reptile. There you go.
Yeah.
And you could have him in the arcade, apparently, where clues on how to fight him. He used to give clues because he would fall down before the match begins and give clues. Oh, there you go. Start a one-player game at the pit. Look to the moon. There must be silhouettes gliding past. This will occur every 6th game. Win a double flawless victory with fatality without blocking at all. A message will appear. There you go.
Making you work for that one, aren't they? Whew.
So, yeah, I mean, in the arcade, it was flipping hard as well. Mortal Kombat was not easy. See? Cheats. So, cheats. I was
going to say one game that I would cheat on from the start. So most of the games would be The Sims. That's probably
Motherload.
Who wants to actually play the actual Sims and go to work and earn money and you just
want to build a swimming pool and then remove the stairs.
Yeah. Put someone in a room and remove the doors.
We talked about that before, how cruel we actually were, because we were both like, how many different ways were there to kill people in The Sims?
Just getting someone to cook who'd never read a cookbook. That was another way.
And just get them to constantly cook until they burnt to death.
I built a house and I put water all around it. So no one could, and then they set fire, and then the fire end guy came out and obviously couldn't get into the house. Well, went in the water, but then he just carried on just going round and round a bit because there was no. So yeah, it was.
But yeah, that was a Motherload, Motherlode, and because it was on PC,
Rosebud was another one.
I think that was the first. I think the first one might have been Rosebud. Yeah,
where you had to like control Alt or whatever. Didn't you?
Yeah, there was Control Shift and C, I think it was, and that would bring up the chat menu thing. So all you had to do was type in the code and then just hold the arrow, shift and the arrow button till it shaded it all, then copy it, and then just do Control V, enter, Control Shift V, C, Control V, enter, Control Shift.
Exclamation marks in it as well. Exclamation mark for each exclamation mark. It might have been like an extra.
I think what it was, there was one of them, I think, that if you put a different character after it, it didn't get rid of the code, but it still read the code, so you could just press enter, maybe.
Was this on The Sims?
The Sims, yeah. So you can still do, Motherload in Sims 4. Again, who wants to go to work? So, but it does, nowadays, it does block achievements. So, there are the odd game now and then that has achievements that it does block achievements, so it does have codes and cheats or sandbox mode or whatnot. But there are some, as I said, with Infinite Wealth, Like a Dragon, I've got that save game that has infinite money and all this kind of thing. They actually sell boosters and money boosters and all this kind of thing for like not cheap as well. They're like £5, £6, £7, I think, kind of thing. So I'm like, what? No, that's not good. But then this is a game which, although I love the game, they have put New Game Plus behind a paywall. So you can't have New Game Plus in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So yeah, I'm going to cheat all I want, thanks. So, do you two cheat nowadays? Do you two cheat at all? If it's not online?
I haven't got the attention span to do that anymore. No.
What about if there was a nice easy code for, I don't know, what have you been playing? What about with your retro games that you play? Would you go on Game FAQs and have a little look?
Yeah, probably maybe SimCity 4. I mean, that's one I would probably have a go
mode
at.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, just try and get like unlimited everything. And just build the hell out of the city. But after that,
a lot of the emulators have cheats built in now, so you don't even have to worry about like finding the cheats. I know at least 3 or 4 of the emulators, you can literally just go into a menu, click select cheat, and it'll have all the cheats there. And they're normally Action Replay codes or Game Genie codes. What's the other one? Game Shark, Exploder. I think anyway, they're all the codes for those kind of things, and they just put it on automatically. I remember back in the day, they were really expensive. They were the cost of a game, basically, weren't they?
Yeah.
But all right, so I think we've had about 50 minutes. Are we all cheated out?
Now I want to go and cheat.
Say your favourite cheat before we.
Oh, funny! Big head mode. Big head modes are always funny.
It was on GoldenEye. It's called Donkey Kong mode, wasn't it? I don't know why. Maybe the Donkey Kongs.
NBA Jam. That was one that had some good cheats. I had some interesting ones where you could play like Bill Clinton and things like that, but then it had infinite on fire kind of thing. But it was just names that you put in the name selection, and so you put the names in, and it went yay, kind of thing, and you played the match with infinite lives. Or I think you could have Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. There was all sorts of characters you could have in the tournament edition. I think it's quite funny. Highly recommend. It's still a good game, the NBA Jam. What about you, Martin?
Yeah, I think cheats which make the game funny or funnier are pretty good. So yeah, the big head modes, I always enjoyed that, especially as a young sort of primary school kid. It was funny watching someone going around on GoldenEye and then seeing someone have a massive head. Easy to get headshots on that mode. But Track and Field used to have some good cheats on there as well.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
What kind of cheats did they have in that?
I think they had like big head mode and stuff like that. So that was, watching someone do the 100 meters with a massive head was always for my childish sense of humour. It was.
I presume Track and Field that you're talking about is possibly not the 1980s Track and Field.
No, I'm speaking about the one which was on Nintendo 64. I think there was probably. It was on PlayStation as well, but
it was on PlayStation as well.
A stick wiggler.
Yeah, it was a button basher one where you have to press A and B.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at that. I think I may have played that on PS1. Yeah,
good. Yeah, it's a good game to play with friends. Though I got the two friends I usually play it with. I don't know why they're so quick with their thumbs, but
there's all sorts of tricks that you can have with that, like moving the controller and yeah, all sorts.
I just can't. We play like 100 meters, and yeah, they'll just be off, and I'll be like there, and I feel like I'm going quick, but I don't know what the trick is.
You're like an old man with the track and field games.
I am, yeah, but yeah,
slow but sure.
Tom, any favorite cheats?
Probably Mario Kart on the SNES, where once you'd completed all the levels, you could tap a code in, and you could play all the levels backwards.
Okay, so an unlock one.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good cheat, isn't it?
Made it harder. Code. And
I mean, cheats that add to the game are always good, aren't they? I think there was a cheat in the original Matrix game which allowed you to have you could play it as like a beat 'em up, basically. So like what was the first? Was it Enter
the Matrix? There was Enter the Matrix.
Yeah, and I think the cheat mode, in which would allow you to then just practically turned it into, as well as having the game, it was turned into a beat 'em up. And I think there was, I don't know if it was cheat codes on Tekken, but you could get like Tekken Bowl. But I don't know if that was a cheat or if that's something you just unlocked. But
oh yes, I used to. Yeah, there was Tekken ones. I can't remember what they did.
Tekken Tag, which was the one where you could get Tekken Bowl on it. I used to.
So I used to love Tekken Bowling.
But
I think used to always be Jack because he had the laser eyes. So
exactly.
You could just point where you wanted it to go. And
I think I did get to the point where it was. I think I was just like, I'm getting 300 every time, or at least I was very near to 300 every time. Let's just go with that. but yeah, no, it was a great game. It's my favourite Tekken tag tournament.
Very good.
It always makes you think, like on those, like they've done the effort to put in something in the game, so they're like the Matrix one, but then they hid it behind a cheat.
Yeah, back in those days, though, obviously that was at the end of it. But as I said, it was the developers who put them in there and then released them to magazines, or sometimes they would even have a deal with a magazine to say, oh, look, we've got this extra thing, we've got this extra character with this extra mode, or whatever. And
it's we kind want of like early DLCs, a way of doing.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I like the stories of the developers on some of the licenses in the 80s and early 90s that were so tight on what they would allow in the game. So the developers would hide certain things within the game just to pee them off. Like there's one with the there
was a McDonald's one, wasn't there? I think
that's right. Yeah, and there's one with a Pepsi can, which was it was a product placement. It was meant to be a Pepsi can, but instead of the Pepsi can, they put a Coca-Cola can. So silly things like that, but yeah, good fun stuff.
Oh, blimey! Because I mean, Pepsi versus Cola is probably one of the biggest brand battles in the world. So I can imagine they were massively annoyed by that. Oh yeah.
There was also the one I heard it on a podcast recently. It wasn't a cheat, but there was a game released by Durrell Games, and you could win £25,000. This was in the late 80s, I think, if you completed the game. And there was a telephone number that you had to ring if you succeeded. And this 12-year-old kid completed the game, rung up, won the 25 grand. His parents invested the money or whatever. And then Durrell Games then employed him. He used to hang about the offices as a 12-year-old, bit weird. But then as he got older, they employed him, and they actually paid for him to go through university.
Oh, nice.
In addition to the 25 grand. So
that's a good story.
12-year-old kid who used to hang out at the offices, then got his education
paid him off with 25 grand. But he's now one of the heads of departments at Sega America.
Wow. Oh, cool. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time, I'd be that kid.
Abuse and paid off. Why not?
Go and hang around with some grown men.
Yeah. Why not?
Always. I think it might have ended up a bit different in the west of England.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was doing that in Western. We'll be doing this podcast at the moment.
No, I think you'd be on a documentary.
Hello, little boy. Yeah. I'll pay for you. Come into this room.
You want 2 trees for the 2p machine?
I'll give you a nice cheat code. Oh dear.
Oh,
Well,
before this gets out of hand.
On that note of possible
Creepy ending.
past. Yeah, let's not just go down that road.
No.
Right. Thank you, guys. And everybody should like and subscribe, shouldn't they?
They should.
And leave a review. And yeah.
And don't sue us for those comments.
Nah.
Well,
Well,
They're really a joke.
I don't think the whole of the west of England is going to sue us, saying that don't worry, we're not all about to take small boys into darkened rooms.
Not once you get past the southern end of Britain now.
As I say, we live near London, which can't exactly talk. So
Yeah, they just get knifed.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
Well,
Moving on.
Old-fashioned in Western. They do it the old-fashioned way.
yeah. They don't do murder in Western. They just do child endangerment.
They charm you, and then they...
Yeah, just do homicide in London, paedophilia in Western. Is that what you're saying, Martin?
I would not say that. You retract that.
So that won't be the headline for this episode then.
No.
Okay.
Duncan's going to edit this episode.
No, I wouldn't put that as the headline because that would be wrong. We'd have to put a cheat code in to remove it. But
Yeah.
right. So lovely to speak to you guys.
And you.
And everybody
Till
should
next
like
week.
and subscribe next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.